Mahi Palanisami started out as a volunteer in the youth department, then produced an audiovisual documentary, then a short documentary on the history of railroads. Well, she can tell you better than I can. So let's meet Mahi.
I grew up, like a lot of people, watching a lot of TV. It was something that I wanted to pursue more. It was an area that I just wanted to learn more about. I know how powerful TV is in comparison to radio. Radio is really niche. It's something that died out, I think, maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And then the visual is what most of us get our information from nowadays, whether it's YouTube or TV or DVDs, whatever it is. And I wanted to have a balance in my life. I wanted to know what I grew up on. What is this visual? What is TV? How it's raised so much of me? Can I create it myself? And then from there on, it's just been an exploration. All of the classes have just been heavy for me. There's so much. For example, setting up this camera, there's so much to take in. What is this button? What is white balancing? What is letting in light? What is placing people in thirds? I think the classes have been phenomenal for me, and it's just been a lot of information that's added for me to be able to be creative and to express myself through this developing skill that I'm developing here at SPNN. The first piece that I worked on was a slideshow, and with it incorporated some audio that I had recorded of a friend. I interviewed him about rail yards. We had just taken a walk through the rail yards by the University of Minnesota, and this friend of mine is very passionate about words, and he, for some reason, he's able to flow. Words just come out of him. He just creates these sentences and just is able to describe with words like nobody else. And he had this passion of rail yards. So we just took many pictures, and because of my radio training, I was able to edit his audio. I recorded audio after we took pictures, and then I laid it together. And it was there that it was probably my biggest shock as to how pictures overlay audio, but how important audio is also in the visual. Like the whole piece would have been completely different without his voice. A film came out that featured Gwyneth Paltrow, and I just said enough. I don't identify with her, I don't identify with this film. I think because this is a visual medium, it does break down to race. I think it breaks down to how women look. I don't see many images of me on TV. So what I did was I stopped watching TV. I didn't own a TV for about 6 years or so, and I stopped going to mainstream movies. I really didn't watch, maybe I watched a few independent films, but that was it. I just went on this huge fast of visual media for 6 years. I had to cleanse myself of all of these images that were just in my mind that I think that had destroyed my self-esteem, that had destroyed me. I think there are other huge parts too that come down to power. Who's owning television? Who's directing it? Who's telling me that I need to be skinny? That I need to speak this certain way? That I need to wear this outfit? That I need to wax my body down? Why do I feel like I need to be like that to be confident? I think very often I hear that we say, well, it's your choice, Mahi. That you can feel how you want to feel. But this is such a common attitude we have with this idea of individuality, of individualism, when the actuality is we live in a society with other people that influence us, that tell us how we feel. That we don't just live as one person, it's a web. And the media, unfortunately, is a big part of this web that is, unfortunately, very limited in its scope. And I think that's why I came to SPNN also, was because there are people here I learned that do understand that I can have a conversation with that and also want to create that world that isn't so limited. Mm-hmm.